Dear friends, my name is Divino Roberto Verissimo. I have been talking to all of you that the UN now has the enormous responsibility of performing a colloquy with the Catholic popes, Eastern patriarchs, and spiritual leaders of the others of the global cultural with this specific focus. Forge the new cultural global partnership on the organization of the social dimension of sustainable development about this objective. Achieve the dignity in the next 30 years for each one of person of humankind. It is what the UN has a duty to do. It must be made clear that it is assumed its leadership and management, the Sustainable Development Agenda for the next 30 years and to the millennium, as the Earth's people representatives, elected directly by national authorities and with mandates defined in its letter and legitimacy defined by the international state of law. 2. To convoke the main leaders of the great religious traditions to take his place and role in the structure of direction and social action of the planet, now under construction. The place and role that they have the right and duty to assume as the direct elected representative by God or its representatives in the history of each peoples for work of salvation, continuity, and unity of the human order, today sustainability. I am talking about the UN assume the Office of Management of International State of Law and its social and governmental mandate to unite all the nations of the world for peace and development. Justification. We need no more service diagnosis or prescription on what to do with the world situation. This direction was correctly set. History is our proof and partner. Historically, coexist some cultural alliances waiting for the moment and the state of human law necessary for the pact and the composition of this action on a global scale, among which 7 were recorded in the Bible. The alliances Abrahamic, Mosaic, Palestine or Palestinian, Davidic, Adamic, Noetic, New or Christian alliance. The timing has come. All are responsible. I will tell all of you the obvious. No one, no government, organization or human institution of market and competition can give the UN the legitimacy and the cultural power that these leaders and the spiritual alliances and forces can offer to these actions. I explain. The post-2015 development agenda of the United Nations is quite a complex of conferences, agreements, and conventions of humanity about the principles and laws of their community and countries, constituting half orange to a global social covenant of humanity. There is another half. The complex of cultural agendas of the races and peoples of Earth that relates to the conference, conventions, and agreements about the directions of faith and the spiritual guidance of each civilization of planets. Together, these agendas represent the guidelines and spiritual and human action to achieve in our times of the Cultural Planetary Alliance the structuring of the cultural unity of life of earth, being done with God by all men, human and generations since the beginning of humanity. Formerly, the Secretary declared as the main objective of UN agenda is the combat poverty. It was a placement error. This is just the main goal set by economics and not by global social direction, about which the Secretary reports. All voices have called for a people-centered and planet-sensitive agenda to ensure human dignity, healthy economies, dignity economies, freedom from want and fear, and a renewed global partnership for sustainable development. This is the real main objective of agenda. In fact, the construction of human dignity and planetary sustainability cannot be reduced to simple and misleading idea of eradicate poverty, as the economic system makes it look and propose in the agenda. However, this goal has been helpful. Accepted to work with it, the United Nations is completing its organizational giant work of the economic structure of the world capital for social, environmental responsibility and human development for life and international relations of the earth. We must now organize the forces and actions in the global cultural fields for optimize its sustainability management, governance and development in these economic fields. At this point in history, it is no longer possible to govern only with economy, the policy state and the legal criminal justice. The directions of colloquy. Considering this context, the proposed colloquy should gather to associate and organize among themselves the directions of the UN and the spiritual directions of humankind, its principles, skills and forces on completing the proposed objective. For the process, there are two specified exigencies. One, the exigence of the integration of UN social guidance, information and human relations on identity and dignity of life developed and registered by across the international state of law since its constitution, and the ancestral social guidelines defined by each cultural tradition from its all institutions doctrinal. 2. The exigence of establishment of a joint social direction, the UN Security Council, and the global cultural directions on the actions of peace and the extinction of war among the nations and religions of earth. If these powers commit themselves to integrating, keeping up, and development this objective with their forces, families, and associated partners, we, as one man, tribal, people, and nation, we shall be enabled really to advance with strength to the field of realization of the ascension of the world order and terrestrial human dignity in the next 30 years. The necessary understanding for the colloquy. The necessary understanding to the establishment of the colloquy is simple. It is the understanding that this goal is historic and historically conditioned to the junction of spiritual direction and human of all 7 billion people on earth and their generations. The organization of colloquy. For purpose of this colloquy, there is a prior action for the UN perform. Establish a commission of organization about cultural unity of earth with these specific mandates. 1. the preparation, organization and presentation to the General Assembly and to the Security Council of the documents of principle and proposals for this colloquy, including A. A compendium of the UN Social Doctrine. B. A framework of program address for the UN get the integration of the direction and the authority of the global spiritual culture on your system with this specific objective. Empower and enlarging each structure to guide and keep 7 billion of people of Earth and its generation for sustainability, peace, security, welfare, and global governance on its families, work, occupation, knowledge and common words, religious, political, economic, social, and environmental. 2. Map out the nuclei of origin of the principles and social guidelines of the state of international law with which it could be established the communication interface between the leaders involved in the integration and promotion of the proposed objective. Conclusion. Concluding, I come to say to you, the success of the UN post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda fundamentally will depend of its articulation with the spiritual leaders of humanity. Constituent scale of the face and the broader global system. The UN Secretary General said to us in its report, we must mobilize the power of culture in the transformative change we seek. If we are to succeed, the new agenda must become part of the contract between people. I complete, and it is fate. Thank you.